Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. On May 13, 2025, the U.S. Department of Commerce suddenly issued a global ban. Any use of Huawei Ascend chips will be considered a violation of export controls. Tesla's Shanghai factory was urgently shut down for 3 hours that day, and 200 smart robots collectively struck due to the chip supply cut. Musk angrily denounced on social media, "This is a stupid act of hitting ants with a sledgehammer." U.S. Secretary of Commerce Raimondo claimed that the FP16 computing power of Huawei Ascend 910B chip reached 376 trillion times, 20% higher than NVIDIA's A800 chip specially supplied to China. What makes Americans even more nervous is that the localization rate of this chip has exceeded 90%, from EDA design software to SMIC's N+2 process, completely bypassing the U.S. technology blockade. Huawei engineers showed the media the true capabilities of the Ascend chip at its headquarters in Shenzhen. Only 128 chips were used to complete the training of a large model with 718 billion parameters. This number is equivalent to repeatedly learning the contents of the Encyclopedia Britannica 5 million times, while the most advanced AI laboratory in the United States needs to use 3 times the number of NVIDIA chips to do this. According to a confidential report from the Pentagon, Ascend chips have been used in the trajectory simulation system of a certain type of hypersonic missile. This system can calculate the complex fluid mechanics changes at the edge of the atmosphere in 0.03 seconds, which is 1.8 times faster than similar systems in the United States, directly stimulating the sensitive nerves of the White House. In the warehouse of the China Rare Earth Industry Association, metal ingots marked SM-152 are being loaded and shipped to Germany. These samarium cobalt magnets are the core materials for manufacturing precision motors. The steering system of BMW's latest electric car is eagerly waiting for this batch of goods, while the order from General Motors of the United States is blocked. The production line of the US F-35 fighter is facing an embarrassing situation. Each aircraft requires 417 kilograms of rare earth materials, 90% of which rely on China for supply. The purchasing director of Lockheed Martin complained privately, "We even use rare earth magnets for the induction faucets in the toilet, and now the inventory is only enough to last for 23 days." At the Baotou rare earth processing plant in Inner Mongolia, engineers demonstrated a centrifuge for separating neodymium and praseodymium. The 3-meter diameter drum rotates at a speed of 8,000 revolutions per minute, which can accurately separate 17 rare earth elements in the ore. This equipment can only be made in China in the world. Tesla was forced to launch an emergency plan, replacing the rare earth magnet drive motor with ordinary magnets, resulting in a 37% drop in the battery life of the new Model Z. Musk admitted in a conference call, "It's like making a rocket engine with wood. This is simply a technological regression." Japanese Toshiba engineers secretly brought Huawei's Ascend chip for testing and found that its image recognition speed was 4 times faster than its own system. A semiconductor dealer in Tokyo revealed, Japanese companies are now working on dual systems, using NVIDIA on the surface and Ascend as a backup in secret. SMIC's 14 nanometers production line is running at full speed, and these seemingly backward chips support 80% of China's industrial robots. The workshop director pointed to an etching machine and said, "Don't be fooled by its appearance like an old washing machine." Now 67% of the world's mature process chips are produced by this equipment. The Dutch ASML company suddenly announced that it will provide Chinese customers with lifetime warranty service for deep ultraviolet lithography machines. Industry analysts pointed out, they are afraid that China will really build EUV lithography machines, and now every machine sold must be bound to a 20-year maintenance contract. In Shenzhen Huaqiangbi Electronics Market, merchants disguised Ascend chips as high-performance computing cards for public sale. One store owner joked, "The so-called military chips seized by the Americans were all found to be acceleration modules for the Genshin Impact game server when they were disassembled." A report from the U.S. Geological Survey shows that it will take 10 years and $250 billion to rebuild the rare earth supply chain. But their new rare earth mine in the California desert encountered a problem as soon as it started. The separation equipment needed to be imported from China, and the other party replied that the order will be scheduled for 3 years later. Volkswagen quietly installed Huawei's Ascend chip into its self-driving test car, which set a record of 40 consecutive hours of zero errors on the streets of Berlin. The project leader said, "We have tested all AI chips, and Ascend's energy efficiency ratio is most suitable for vehicle-mounted systems, even if we are fined." South Korea's Samsung's memory chip production line suddenly received a large number of expedited orders, and these chips are specifically used to work with Ascend processors. An insider revealed, "The global AI chip market is now in a strange situation. China is responsible for the brain, while other countries are rushing to make memory sticks." At Huawei's Songshan Lake base, engineers demonstrated to the media the Iron Man robotic arm controlled by the Ascend chip. Behind this futuristic scene are 32,000 domestically produced parts and a completely independent Hongmeng operating system. Even the screws are engraved with Chinese model codes. The U.S. Department of Commerce's sanctions list is getting longer and longer, but Chinese customs data show that chip imports in the first quarter of 2025 actually increased by 18%. The customs officer pointed to the container and explained, "These are all backward chips above 28 nanometers, but Chinese factories can turn them into core controllers for smart grids." European Airbus sent a delegation to China for negotiations, hoping to exchange the technology of the A380 passenger aircraft for the supply of rare earth magnets. Both sides have bargaining chips on the negotiating table. China needs aircraft engine blade coating technology, while Airbus only wants to get a stable supply of neodymium iron boron magnets. According to the statistics of the Global Semiconductor Industry Association, China's mature process chip production capacity has soared from 28% in 2020 to 67%. The chairman of the association lamented, "It is not that China relies on the world now, but that the world cannot do without China's electronic food supply." In the trading hall of Wall Street in New York, fund managers are frantically shorting U.S. rare earth concept stocks. The numbers jumping on the electronic screen show that after China Rare Earth Group announced a technological breakthrough, the stock price of U.S. MP Materials plummeted 44% in half an hour. Huawei's Ren Zhengfei mentioned in an internal speech, "Americans think that they can contain us by blocking 7-nanometer chips, but they don't know that we have built a great wall in the 28-nanometer field." This sentence is written on the time clock in the Shenzhen factory, and every worker has to take a look before entering the workshop. The global technology game has entered a new stage. While the United States has built high barriers in the field of cutting-edge chips, China is turning mature technology into an irreplaceable basic ecology. Just like building a pyramid, the United States is obsessed with the spire's glory, while China is consolidating the base with millions of boulders.